too often the role that nonprofit organizations and foundations, particularly the ones that give money to support several initiatives in the community, are overlooked. But they in fact have a phenomenal impact in social, political, educational, and academic elements of our community to try to help make this a better community. So today I thought it would not be robbery if we would just sit down and feature not only an organization that has had a measurable impact on our community, but also a young lady who has had a measurable impact, and she doesn't know it, but she kind of reminded me through Facebook or something that March is Women's Month.
Yes, it is.
And so I think it's most appropriate that we have this young lady on the program in the person of Miss Tonja Khabir. And rather than my introducing her, I'm gonna let her just talk a little bit about herself. But first, this is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham. And as I said, we have with us Miss Tonja, Tonja Khabir. And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Tonja Khabir. I am originally from Macon. I graduated from Central High School, traveled, did my education, and moved back to Macon about 5 years ago now. And so I have a nonprofit background in nonprofits as well, but I currently work as the executive director with the Griffith Family Foundation, also here in Macon. And so it's kind of a wonderful full circle opportunity to be able to be back in my own home community to serve in the way that it's given so much back to me as well.
And that's outstanding, but although you do it with a lot of humility, but we're gonna get back to Griffith. But talk a little bit about the other kind of initiatives and programs and activities in which you are involved.
Wow, so where do I start is the real question.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Okay, so recently I've been working in the Pleasant Hill community, so we've been doing a lot of work with the former Bobby Jones Performing Arts Center, and just kind of looking and working with the community to figure out what it is that could bring that space either back to life or give it a new kind of meaning for the community. And so we've been doing that for about 2 years. In that, it's gotten me kind of involved in the community in a different way, like community organizing a little bit stronger. Previously, I also worked with a nonprofit where I founded. We were working with young underrepresented youth, high school students, to promote global leadership and international education. So pretty much teaching them that, you live in Macon, Macon is your home, but like there's an entire world out there that you could also see and participate in, learn from, even if you want to bring it back to your community, because that's been my experience as well. And so working with other people, residents, working with youth has really been a lot of my background. We also have a young professionals network called Urbane, and we're just some young people that like to get together and kind of commune together. The idea is to build a collective influence, because we see that as important. If we're going to be the leaders, not even just of tomorrow, but of today,
right,
it's important that we even just know each other. So whether it's cocktails, whether it's community service, whether it's just chilling, we like to meet and kind of mingle with each other so that we can know who we are and be able to further put ourselves in the community.
I think that's absolutely phenomenal, and I am so happy. One of the things that bothers me is that the torch has to be passed, and I think too often members of my generation is not aware enough of that, and then we don't engage in trying to identify young people like yourself who can kind of continue the legacy. So I congratulate you and your colleagues for that initiative. So let's talk a little bit about the Griffith Foundation. Just give me some information about it generally before we get into the specifics.
Okay, so the Griffith Family Foundation was founded by a man, Benji Griffith, who is a Maconite. He went to Mercer, graduated from Mercer, a landowner, and he himself has a passion for the community. And so he's been able and fortunate enough to give back. And so he does that through the foundation. So I've been working with him for the last 2.5 years to do that. And so within the foundation, we're focusing on, creating economic opportunities, arts and culture, as well as enhancing the quality of education here in Macon Bibb. And so pretty much we funded several organizations within that, but we just started a grant application cycle last year, 2019. So beforehand, he had been giving to the community. Just now we're creating a way to do that even more equitably. So we're very empowered by the number of community organizations that exist and the work that they are doing in the community. So we want to make it accessible to everyone to be able to apply and understand the process so that they can receive resources from the Griffith Family Foundation, but also use that as a measure to receive resources from other philanthropic endeavors as well.
Right, because once they go through the process, then they can apply to other entities. So if I'm understanding, well, what are the criteria for applying?
So you have to be a 501c3. If not, you can have a fiscal sponsor. It just makes it easier if you are a 501c3, but we don't throw out fiscal sponsorship. Pretty much just a heart for service. We focus on grassroots organizations. So we're looking at organizations that just have either are using that grassroots and sort of organizing methodology to their approach. And that's a lot of smaller organizations or smaller funded organizations. We want to make sure that these organizations that need the resources are actually applying to the process. A lot of times we find that people are just out here working hard and don't know that they can get assistance with the work that they're doing. And so we want to make sure that those are the people and those are the organizations that are applying for this funding as well.
And there's probably a lot of individuals and groups and organizations who are doing things and don't know much about the formal process of trying to receive some assistance. And the good thing about it is that a lot of people do things, they just do it from their heart.
Exactly.
But not knowing that they could be much more effective, or maybe they do know it, if in fact they had some kind of financial support, particularly if they are on a good mission. So aren't there entities in the community that will help with at least establishing a 501c3?
So yes, the Knight Foundation was really generous in assisting our local library, Middle Georgia Regional Library, with creating this thing called the Bank. So it's a business and nonprofit center. So if you're an entrepreneur or you have a nonprofit, you can go to this source to get any resource you need. And I mean, the library has a connection with Foundation Source or the Foundation Center, and it has like all the grants you can apply for, period. I mean, national, state, federal, all those types of things. And so there are local opportunities, and those opportunities are pretty cool because networking can help you with that. But it's so much more than the local foundation philanthropy that exists. And so at the bank, you can literally go, and they have librarians that can assist you through that process as well. That can teach you how to do a proposal writing 101. Do I even need to start a nonprofit?
Even how to write a proposal. So if you don't know anything about what it takes to be a 501c3,
exactly,
they can help you form that entity. And then once you get it formed, if they want to submit something to the Griffith Foundation, you can get.
Exactly.
Now that's a two best kept secret.
Period.
It's two best kept.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people in the community who really got good ideas and who need help, not knowing that real help, and I knew it, but real help, and not only that, with business plans. I had people that we were assisting with the downtown initiative who had to write business plans. Then they went over to Jennifer, I think is her name, Price.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to let everybody out there know that the library is a phenomenal resource to assist with information and developing information and creating an entity if in fact you're interested in promoting and fostering whatever your idea is. So is there a particular area of concentration that Griffith tries to help?
So we do look at the arts, so arts and culture. We funded organizations like the Tubman Museum, like Streetline Percussion, Otis Redding Foundation. We've also done work with, if you're looking at creating economic opportunities, we've done work with Newtown Macon, the Adult Readiness Program with that Motivating Youth has, Operation Hope, so many others. And then the other category is, education. So last year, some of our highest awards were to after school programs. So we really, everything is, split evenly, but education, after school programming, all those types of things are within where we fund.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. So is there a limit? I mean, how do the numbers fit in as it relates to what a person can?
Well, so last year we gave away, in our first application, we gave away over $500,000. So just at $500,000, which is pretty good because we hadn't been given that much. We hadn't been giving out that much in the previous years. And so the highest award was $50,000, and then the lowest award was $1,000. And so it's pretty much how much does your organization need and what capacity does your organization have to fulfill the objectives based on the funding that you've requested. And so it's, if you have a great need, it's an important opportunity for you to fulfill that. And quite frankly, you get 0% of the dollars that you don't apply for. So we really ask people to make sure that
if you don't play, you can't win.
You can't win. It's just like the lottery. So apply, even if, so we're not like idea based. Sometimes there are a lot of funding systems that are, give us your best idea. Like, what are you already doing? Because we focus on grassroots organizations that need assistance with creating the change that they're already doing based on their local knowledge or their community knowledge. So we really, it's not about the most fascinating program, though that helps. We don't spend energy trying to create something new. Like, what are you doing?
Right. And
how can we assist you in doing that?
And there are a lot of people with real good ideas and who, what's really strange is you got a whole lot of people who are doing important stuff in the community as we speak. Excuse me. Who need some assistance, and they can apply. So talk a little bit about the application process.
So what we've done is, and a lot of foundations around us are pretty similar in that as well, but we made it as simple as possible. I mean, maybe I'd say simple for me, but if you need assistance, email us at hellogriffithfamilyfoundation.com for any questions. But we've made it as simple as possible. There's a list of questions. I want to say it's a total of 20, but I mean, it's like, tell us about your organization. Tell us about your program. What are your program objectives? So the questions are, they're not trick. It's not trick questions. It's what are you trying to do so that we can know how best to serve. And so that application process is simple. We'll have it online starting March the 16th. So you'll be able to access it. The deadline is April 29th, 2020 at 5:00 p.m. So the deadline is not 5:30. It is 5:00 p.m. April 29th. And so
evidently you've gotten a lot of 5:15 and 5:20 applications.
Right. I just want to ensure, that even when you're applying to other applications, like especially with the government and things like that, they have a surefire cutoff time. So April 29th at 5:00 p.m. is, and I don't know what day of the week that is, but anyway, that's when the deadline is. So you have between actually now and April 29th to send in your questions. We'll have a webinar, and that'll literally go through each question and help you figure out what is the best information that you need. I mean, people tend to try to figure out how can I be most persuasive, and they want to put all of this energy into that. But
just answer the question.
Answer the questions. You know what I'm saying? Answer the questions. The best way that you can answer the questions is going to be the way that it is read. And so, I want to say it's simple, but I do know that people may have a lot of fears or just insecurities with applying for it as well. But we just want to assure you.
They could go to the library to get help.
They can go to the library to get
because
assistance.
The business librarian is just a phenomenal lady named Jennifer Price. Excuse me for cutting you off, but I thought I'd interject that.
You're saying what I'm supposed to be saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the process. So once they just fill it out, and then it's reviewed by a committee.
Mm-hmm. It's reviewed by our board, and once they do that, I want to say by mid-June, we'll have the announcement. So you'll probably know at the end of May if you receive funding, and then it'll be announced to the public in the middle of June, by the middle of June.
So let me ask you this now. What if a church had a program?
Mm-hmm. So
although it's not, but the church would still need, you know what bothers me, Ms. Khabir? We got so many resources in these communities, facilities, owned by churches. Mm-hmm. It just seems to me, and I could be wrong, that if we could put together, why are you laughing? If we could put together programs in some of these gyms and some of these buildings. So if in fact a religious institution wanted to start evening basketball, to bring some of the kids off the street, would that be a possibility?
Yeah, so what many people maybe don't know is that churches fall under the 501c3 category, so they can automatically apply for funding. They don't need a separate 501c3 status. And so provided that your activity is to bring the community services, because I know we've seen some grants, and I want to be careful.
You want to buy some pews.
We cannot.
Yeah, you can't buy no pews.
We can't buy pews.
Yeah, I'll say it. You don't want to say it.
And because we are a 501c3, it's government. So we can't be religiously affiliated in the sense of bringing people to Christ or whatever that religious personnel might
try to increase the membership.
We can't do that.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
But yes, a community basketball program, and there's several churches. Last year we actually didn't fund Kingdom Life. It was the Urban CEO, but a lot of people, if you don't know, they are a church with community programming for the Urban CEO. Right. So there are a lot of churches that actually do have an operating 501c3, and they do a lot of work for the community, and we love to see that as well. So even if your church doesn't have an operative 501c3, and you're doing those types of things, churches do health fairs, all types of things, it is still,
coat drives.
Now, I can't say that we fund those things, we don't do one-day events and things like that, but if it is a community program that you are doing, then a lot of times churches are doing things with organizations, 501c3s that already exist as well too. So either way, my thing is, if you got questions, just apply or send an email. Don't let the moment pass you by where you're like, I just have so many questions, I don't think I want to do it. Do it. I had to run so many people down last year. I thought you told me you were going to apply. Well, I saw them at our FAQ session, and they, I talked to them, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. That's wonderful. When it came time to apply, I mean days. It was just like, I haven't gotten your application. I'm trying to understand. Please do not let me have to run you down, because I'm older. I'm part of the aging population now, so I just can't be running people around the city trying to figure out.
Right.
So please don't make me have to do that.
Well, how about some success stories? Can you talk about some of the entities that you funded and
oh my God,
they're doing well and they make You know, they make it worth it. They make you glad that you were able to help.
Yes, I mean,
Gives you a lot of feel good.
So everybody, I will say everybody, and we do like, we don't do site visits, but we do like come by, try to volunteer, or just try to be a part of what's happening. And so, I mean, we obviously see the kids at the Otis Redding Foundation. They always, anytime they're doing a performance, we try to support and come out and see what they're doing, because obviously they're stellar. Same thing with Streetline. So this is the first time that we had funded an organization called Streetline Percussion. And I mean, some phenomenal, like, children of all ages. I mean,
that.
you know, they just be drumming.
I saw them at the drum line.
Yes. And so they had gotten new uniforms. So a part of their grant was to receive new uniforms, because they get more and more students each year, and sometimes it isn't easy for the students to be able to get their uniforms to perform in. And I mean, they look sharp. And of course they performed well. And so they were very excited about that. And they are performing. They don't stop performing. So that's something that you're like, you know what? If it means that you have a child that's participating in something, and something, you look good, you feel good. You know, you're in it to win it. And so to me, I was very excited about that. The Middle Georgia Regional Library, I know we talk about them, but they do a program called Library Wow, where they use a bookmobile, it's like a van, a library on wheels, to visit different communities that don't have access to the library.
Wow.
So they needed a new van with a new wrap. And so they were able to get that van. Similar to Boys and Girls Club, they also got a van. Some of their students, there was a change, some of the students couldn't actually make it to the center. And so they got a van to go to pick up the students after school.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just been some. So, I mean, that's just a few of them. And
I work with Motivating You.
Yes.
You know, I'm one of the instructors for that program, and I know what it means to the community. And also, I believe I saw a real impact.
Yes.
Real impact. So
they're getting assistance, just like program assistance, like actual personnel capacity building, which is what we really love to see as well.
Right. Well, that's extremely important. And I guess the long and short of it all is that there's such a need in our community. And then let me say something about kids. They're like sponges. And they're going to absorb whatever that they are connected with. Mm-hmm. So I hope that Tonja doesn't mind my saying this, but if in fact you've got an idea, if you almost involved, if you see something, if you have a desire to start something or to do something, although she likes programs that are already going on, but I think that if you were to present a concept and you research it and answer the questions right, then there may be a possibility, because it takes a village. It takes all of us to make a difference in the community, and that's exactly what we need to do, and that's very, very important. Yeah. And I got a couple other questions, but I want to give a shout out to Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
You know, you don't know this, but several years ago, when I was the founder of the Adopt a Role Model program, I mean, over 20. You know, I had a guy here whose name was Buddy Green. We had a program over at Maple White. When it was not Macedonia, it was Maple White. But they donated $10,000 to the Adopt a Role Model program several years ago, so I understand and appreciate. And we did a lot because we were mentoring young African American boys, so I really appreciate the role that plays and those contributions play. I've experienced it firsthand, so I know how important it is. So what else? I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, you know, one thing that we do like to say in the nonprofit and philanthropy community, and I don't want this to be a discouragement to anyone, is that there are several ways to serve. And so a lot of these nonprofits, you know, also need our dollars as a community. And so philanthropy is a beautiful thing that we as individuals can contribute to it as well. So the Griffith Family Foundation, along with the Community Foundation, also started a fund, which we will be announcing shortly, where it's a giving circle. So you can also participate in philanthropy and be a philanthropist yourself by giving back to the community with your dollars.
You give some money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To these organizations that need it. And that's not the only way to participate in that. You can also volunteer at organizations because they need our service, they need our help. They're doing so much great work for the community. Sometimes they just need you to come by on Wednesdays, whether it's to read to a child or hang out with whomever. And so you don't have to always start your own nonprofit because the market is saturated.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, and it's also, the funding is not as saturated as the market is. And sometimes there's a nonprofit out there that might be doing what you're doing, and maybe they need a twist, or maybe the director is looking to retire, or maybe there are other ways to find yourself within how all of this works and how to serve the community. And so I encourage everybody to think about how we can connect together, not just collaborate, but fully connect and hear each other and understand how we can.
Let me ask you, what about entrepreneurialism?
Yes, so everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, period, point blank.
But I mean, is there some assistance?
Oh, do we assist?
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to go on my whole spiel about Black wealth. But we do not specifically, we don't do grant funding for entrepreneurs. I've gotten that question a lot. What we have done, similarly to what Middle Georgia Black Pages have done with Newtown Macon, we
try to increase generally.
Increasing that
economic development.
Exactly. Yeah. So we worked with the GOTSE initiatives along with the Knight Foundation and Kirby GOTSE to put money into a fund called the GOTSE Fund. And so that actually helps entrepreneurs who are particularly looking to start businesses in downtown. Right. And what that does is it's a loan fund. So it allows you to apply for a loan, but a lot of times, especially for marginalized or non-traditional populations, i.e. Black folk, it is challenging to get traditional funding from banks. And so this assists you with being
able to out of time, and I want you to be able to repeat those application dates again.
Okay. Oh, sorry. April 29th, 2020 at 5:00 p.m. is when the application for Griffith Family Foundation is.
Deadline, but when does it start?
Oh, it starts March 16th.
March 16th.
So you can go online at www.griffithfamilyfoundation.com, click the apply now button, and you don't even have to apply. You can set up the account and just look at all the questions and have fun with it. But the deadline is April 29th, 2020, 5 p.m.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham. I have an interview, Ms. Tonja, with the J, Khabir, who's the executive director of the Griffith Family Foundation. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
And if you've got an idea, if you've got an existing organization, you can apply. But if you got an idea about helping something or somebody, find somebody who's already doing it. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Haversham. Have a great day.
Yay.